Hey everybody, I told you I would give you guys a video whenever I started working on the Mustang for my flip. So things didn't go exactly as planned. I knew the catalytic converters were clogged. So I got those done and taken care of. I'll show you real quick. What you have to get to is those two bolts. You see the O2 sensor there and the bolts on the other side. You have to get to those from underneath, and you've got to use, for the top one, you've got to run it along the top of the heat, by the heat shield, and you need an extension kind of like that. I think somebody else said about 26 inches long. I didn't measure this to see, and it is also a 15 millimeter nut on there. So the problem I was having was they were pretty rusted on there. And you know what most people say, use a heat gun to heat them up and everything. But if your catalytic converters are clogged, then basically you just got to start the engine up, let them heat up, they'll get hot enough, and then you can reach up in there and break them off, break them loose. That's what I ended up doing after I broke one off the first time. So to fix that, instead of trying to pull the bolt out or the stud out, I just bought a replace a stud, or I think it's clamp a stud. But when you break one off, it's just a little clamp about this big. It's got a point on one side and a bolt on the other, and you just hook it around that flange, and then you just bolt that in, and that just squeezes that flange together, and you don't have to worry about taking the bolt out again. So I can see if we can see it from the top side here. I had to do it on this side. Actually, it's underneath. So go up underneath here. Actually, you can see it right there. So it just clamps on either side, and then you just take a bolt and you just tighten that all the way up. Now, I do have some exhaust leak coming from there, so I will end up taking this to a shop to get the exhaust leaks fixed before I sell it. Right now we're just trying to get it running because we are trading in my wife's Explorer for a Bronco Sport, and we got to do that this Saturday. The Bronco Sport's not here yet. It's still in at the factory, but it says it's on hold, which means it's waiting for a chip. And I know the chips have been coming through, and the last I heard they had been shipping out about 375 vehicles a day out from the factory, because what they have to do is they have to stop the production and put these chips in and then run them through the factory and go through all the safety issues to make sure everything is good before they ship them out. So they're trying to do these at a reasonable pace, but not to dampen their production too much. So we're going to probably have to wait a few weeks before we actually see it. It could be up to a month, but they're giving us a pretty good trade-in on this our Explorer. So we'll actually be getting a brand new Bronco with no miles on it, and Bronco Sport Big Bend, and it won't have any miles on it, but we also will be getting money back because the Explorer is worth more than what a brand new Big Bend is. So that's that situation. Anyway, moving on. So once I got the exhaust fixed and got those pieces all mounted back up, I started the engine and let it run, and all of a sudden it started bogging down again. So immediately I knew the muffler's clogged too. So then I had to get the muffler off. More rusted bolts, more of a pain. I spent 2 days trying to get just a clamp broken loose. Show you here. This clamp right here, it was so rusted I couldn't even get it to separate. I got the nut off of it, but I couldn't get the rest of it to even open up to get it off. So once I finally messed around with it long enough and jammed a screwdriver in there, it started to cut it. My Sawzall wouldn't get at the right angle. So finally I started jamming a screwdriver in there and just started beating it with a hammer, and finally it popped enough of that rust off of there that ended up loosening it up, but I still couldn't move it because these mufflers have like 4 hangers on them, and that basically keeps it from moving at all in any direction. So you've got, or I guess there's 3. There's one here, and one back there. So I ended up just unbolting the whole hangers and everything off of the vehicle just to get it to where I could move it around to pull this piece off. And just as I suspected, you can't see it in there anymore because I've dumped it out, but it was completely plugged. This is what was in the tube for the muffler. As you can see, this is a perfectly round piece that was right down inside there, blocking all of the flow and bogging the engine down and keeping it from running. So that's what we got. That all came out of those catalytic converters that were down there. So now I got that taken care of, so I decided, well, let's start it up and see what happens this time. And it actually ended up getting started, idled up pretty good. Now, just to let you know, this is a little loud, but I'm gonna go ahead and start it up for you guys. Well, don't have the keys in there. Go grab the keys. We'll get it started up, and you guys can see that part of it is good to go. Now I got to get a new muffler. But like I said, this is a flip. This is not my personal vehicle. My personal vehicle, I would have put high flow cats on and put a high flow muffler on. But this thing got cheaper catalytic converters set, and it's going to get a $30 muffler put on the back of it. So let's get this started up. So I'll probably end up driving it like this for a little while, because my wife's gonna have to drive my truck. I don't want to put her driving to St. Louis in this car. And, you know, it's a 3-hour drive, and I don't want her to be driving this. And so we really haven't tested out, made sure everything else is good on it. But right now it's idling pretty good. It's not bogging down. Doesn't sound too bad. Hear the engine. I may not have too much of an exhaust leak here. Yesterday it was leaking pretty bad down here, but I think I may have got it tight enough. I might try tightening it up some more in a couple days. But it's sounding pretty good. It's idling down now from running, but I mean, you can hear how quiet the engine is. You might see a little bit of smoke because, of course, we've got brand new exhaust on there. So there's going to be a little bit of smoke. Plus, I was also using a lot of PB Blaster, so it's going to burn a lot of that stuff on. So that's it for right now. I'm going to do a tune-up on it, an oil change, and an oil flush. With doing the oil flush with the BG stuff. It's supposed to be the best on the market, and I'm not doing the big $300 big kit that they do that really flushes everything out. It's just a can that I got off of Amazon. It's suggested by Ford Boss Me. Go check him out. He's a Ford tech working at a dealership, and he goes over a lot of stuff, talks about a lot of things about the cars, recommendations, how to fix a lot of things that you may not have known how to fix or have seen before. Does a lot of info on oil filters and cuts them open, shows you what's inside of them. So if you're interested in any of that stuff, go check out Ford Boss Me. Other than that, if you like this video and you want to see more on this project as I'm going along, click the subscribe button, hit the like button, and ring the bell so you get the notification when the next video comes out. All right, well, thank you very much. You can see that little sweat bee up there in the corner right beside my head. They've been pretty crazy today. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later.